This edition of MacVoices is sponsored by Take Control Books, the answers you need now from leading experts. If you want to get the most out of my password manager of choice and use it to your fullest advantage, Joe Kissel has the definitive guide in Take Control of 1Password. Get it now at takecontrolbooks.com. I'm Chuck Joyner. I'm in San Francisco at Macworld iWorld 2014. We're in the FileThis booth talking to Brian about FileThis, a paperless solution that, Brian, everything is paperless. Nobody wants paper anymore.
Well, it needs to be paperless because there are so many advantages to being paperless, besides obviously being good for the ecosystem and everything. It's a cheap way of having access to all your documents forever and basically be able to get it wherever you are, whenever you need it, at a moment's notice, versus having to get in a car, drive home, search a filing cabinet, just to find a document you need at that moment.
The interesting thing to me about paperless is that everybody wants to do it. There are about 6 different formulas for how to do it, and we're all kind of searching for that standardization that probably will never come, but for the easiest ways, the simplest ways to do it. What differentiates FileThis from some of the other solutions we see?
Chuck, that's a great question. I'm glad you led into it with that. The thing is, it is a hard problem to go paperless. And we've spoken with a lot of consumers over the many years leading up to this about how they tackle that problem. And the thing is, what we've realized is that consumers are not going to go paperless if they have to do the work. Right? Consumers are already exceedingly, overworked with everything just running their lives. So to take a look at a filing cabinet filled with, 10,000 documents and try and figure out how am I going to get all of this digitized, well, you're not. And if the answer is you take one piece of paper at a time and you scan it in and you upload it to a cloud service like Dropbox and you create a folder for it and you give it a name and you tag each one, that process will last exactly 3 hours before you give up on the whole thing. And
you go back to paper and file it in the
paper and you say, I want to be paperless, but I don't know how. This is what FileThis focused on. We try to figure out how do we automate the process and really make it simple for the consumer. And automation really is the key. So what we've built is a system that, one, will automatically get the majority of your documents and bring them in for you. So what I'm talking about here are most of the documents you deal with, in a house, in a home, are your bills and your statements, your credit cards, your bank statements, your utility statements, insurance documents, health documents, auto documents, things like that. Most of those are actually already digital and online somewhere. The problem is that they're not easily accessible to you. You've got to actually log into each different site with 20 different sets of credentials that you've got to remember, figure out how to navigate these sites to get to your data. And FileThis, we're very big believers in your data belongs to you and should be in your control. Right now, it's in the control of all your providers. It's sitting there on Bank of America and sitting there on Chase and sitting there on American Express. And we're trying to help you get control of your own data. So what FileThis will do is it'll link to those accounts for you and automatically bring them in every month and deliver it wherever you want. We're very democratic when it comes to the web. We don't want to hold your data hostage any more than we want any of the other providers to hold it hostage. So if you're already working with a storage provider, you've already selected all my stuff is being stored in Evernote, all my stuff is being stored in Dropbox, we're totally fine with that. We'll still fetch all your documents every month automatically, and we'll deliver it to your Evernote account or your Dropbox account. What we're doing is we're doing the fetching so you don't have to remember to go onto every site every month and get them. We're turning every document into a fully text searchable PDF, so you can search every one of these documents. We're giving them a name that makes complete sense automatically, and we're organizing all of this for you in your Evernote or your Dropbox, or we have our own repository, FileThis, if you want to store it in the repository we give, which is essentially a beautiful digital filing cabinet that has additional advantages, but we'll let you figure out what is the best solution for you. In the meantime, we're helping you get control of your own data automatically, and that is a huge step forward in going paperless.
You make it sound so easy. But I especially like the idea that, okay, you're going to gather up the information for me, because as much as I like scanning things and it makes you feel good, it still is, I got to sit down and do the work, open the mail, look at it, scan it, then address it.
Right.
And so with yours, what, you just get the information right from the cable TV provider, the credit card company?
Look, there are documents that we can't fetch because they're not digital or they're not in a place where they're accessible. So, scanning may be a part of the process to go fully digital, but it can't be the main method of doing it, and it'll be the thing that'll put people off if that's how they approach it, right? You can't approach it thinking I'm going to scan everything in. Let's approach it like this. There's a lot of my data out there. I'll just start getting it brought in automatically for me, so I don't have to do anything, but I know it's all there in one place and accessible and searchable for me. And then for the other things that I can't get that way, fine, I will scan them in. I'll bring them into FileThis. FileThis will make them fully searchable and name them for me and automatically tag them for me, and then I'll have those as well. But that's just the add-on. Let's get the majority of the stuff automatically brought in.
So, for all this convenience, what am I paying on a monthly basis to do this?
Oh, well, that's the best news. We're essentially a freemium service. Now, what that means is we are free. You can hook up to 6 connections, 6 institutions for free forever. Beyond that, you start paying. And we do want you to pay because, again, we believe your data belongs to you, and we're not going to be mining that data. We're not going to be selling that data or renting that data or aggregating that data in any way. We just want to get that data and give it to you. So we do need to be paid. And so for that, we have 2 levels of service. A premium is $2 a month, and you get up to 12 connections. And then an ultimate is $5 a month, and you get up to 30 connections.
It fascinates me how many people will say, well, gee, I don't know if I want to pay that, because I can scan it myself. Like you said, it's going to last about 3 hours. But the second thing is the amount of time that it takes. Depending on how you value your time, $2 a month is nothing. $5 a month is nothing.
So I'll give you a scoop over here, Chuck. People absolutely are loving the service. Our conversion rate from freemium to paid is 20%. Now, most freemium products, in fact, if you talk to anyone in the industry about freemium and the conversion rate to paid, they will tell you it's 3%. That's what it is, it's 3%. We're at 20%, and the reason we're at 20% is people see the value of this, absolutely. They get on there with their first 6 connections for a little while, they immediately see the value and the amount of time it's saving, they sign up for the additional connections, and they start paying us, and they're happy to pay us. They're happy to pay us.
I know that it's something that we all get tired of talking about, but how about security? And when I connect you with my, again, credit card account, what kind of access am I giving you, and am I giving up any confidentiality, or are there any privacy issues?
No. I mean, privacy, we are strong believers in your data belongs to you, and we are not going to do anything with that data. Security was built in from the ground up, so everything is encrypted, 256-bit encryption, highest level. I would go as far as saying we are more secure than bank-level security. And part of that is because we're a newer system. I mean, if you think about 20 or 30-year-old systems that the banks are dealing with, trying to retrofit the security into a lot of those systems is a lot harder than building it in from the ground up. We've been building it in from the ground up. We're a much newer system.
It sounds great, and it sounds like something that people should at least consider looking at if they're going to go paperless, because it's going to smooth the way for them a lot. Absolutely.
It's a freemium product. Get on there, try it with 6 connections. It doesn't cost you anything. If you don't like it, don't use it. But I'm convinced you'll love it.
Just for clarification's sake, when you say 6 connections, are you talking about 6 utilities, or are you talking about 6 bills and that's it?
No, 6 institutions. So you could go to Bank of America, and that's one institution. If you happen to have 3 checking accounts, 2 savings accounts, and a mortgage account there, all of those will be brought in for that one connection.
Got it. Makes perfect sense. The website where people go to learn more and sign up?
FileThis.com. Very easy.
It's simple. Brian, thanks for the time.
You bet. Thank you, Chuck.
Folks, more from Macworld iWorld 2014 in San Francisco. I'm Chuck Joyner. Thanks for watching. Camera work by John Zakowski of Azimuth Productions Video San Francisco at videosanfrancisco.com. Visit MacVoices.com for links, show notes, to subscribe, to connect with Chuck on Twitter, app.net, Google+, and Facebook. Subscribe to our weekly newsletter, the MacVoices Dispatch, to stay up to date with all the latest MacVoices news from our front page or at macvoices.com/newsletter. Advertising and sponsorships handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com.